To solve a log equation, there's 4 simple steps that you need to follow. First, you need to use the properties we just discussed to combine it into a single log, then switch it to exponential form, and then solve your equation normally. And then you have to do a quick check because you cannot take the log of a negative number. So for this first example, what you could do is put some constraints on your answers first. So this 5x has to be greater than 0, so x has to be greater than 0. Or x minus 1 has to be greater than 0, so x has to be greater than 1. So your answer has to work in both scenarios, so the x is greater than 1 overrides the x is greater than 0, and so therefore all your numbers have to be greater than 1. So you can do that first, or you can just do that at the end. So I'll show you both ways here. First you're going to do combine into a single log, so plus turns into multiplying. So you're going to have a log of 5x times x minus 1 equals 2. Then we want to switch it to exponential form, so since there's no base listed, we assume it's a 10. So 10 squared equals 5x times x minus 1. And then you're just going to solve this normally. So we'd have 100 equals 5x squared minus 5x. So throw everything on one side. So subtract the 100 over there. We could factor this. If you want to factor out a 5, you could, to make your life a little easier. And so that should factor into x minus 5 and x plus 4. So we get x equals 5 and x equals negative 4. So if you go back to our constraints, x has to be greater than 1, so we automatically know the negative 4 should not work. And so it should just be the x equals 5. If you hadn't put those constraints on first, you would go back and plug them in. So 5 times 5 is 25. That's positive. And 5 minus 1 is 4, which is also positive. If you plugged in the negative 4, you'd have 5 times negative 4, which is negative 20, so therefore it would not work in that one. So as soon as it doesn't work, it's not an answer at all. So you can do your check either way. Another version of this is when you have natural logs or logs throughout the entire problem. So you kind of want to follow the first step, so combine them into a single log. So minus turns into division, so x minus 1 over x plus 1. And then since you have the natural log on both sides, since you're doing that same operation, you just need what's beside them to be equal. So we need the x minus 5 to equal the x minus 1 over x plus 1. So we're just going to solve this normally. So get rid of that denominator, so multiply both sides by x minus 1. Then we need to FOIL this side. And then just like before, throw everything on one side. And then factor. And we will get x equals negative 3 and x equals negative 2. So on this one, I didn't go through and do my constraints first, but if I plug in negative 3 plus 5 is positive, so that's okay. If I do negative 3 minus 1, that would be negative 4, which doesn't work. So x minus 3 or equals negative 3 is not going to work. If I plug in my x equals negative 2 plus 5, that works. Negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3, so that does not work either. So this one is a no solution.